Hello and welcome back to A New Bit Here, episode 254. My name is Tom.
And my name's Ande.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where not up in the right-hand corner, it's on the right-hand side of the page, or slightly further down if you scroll down it on your mobile device. There's an Amazon banner. If you click on that Amazon banner and go and do your shopping, as you do all the time, I mean, it's Amazon, no one shops anywhere else really, we get 5% of your total basket spend at the end of it. You don't pay any more, we just take some of that tax that they're not paying, and it keeps us on the internet. It pays for our hosting fees.
Yeah, another way you can support us if you want to stick it to the man and not shop on Amazon, you can support us on Patreon. In the same place as the Amazon banner, there's a Patreon banner as well. And you click on that and it takes you through to Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, we only ask, that's the only tier we've got. You can opt to pay more if you want, it gives you that option, but for $1 a month you will get these main episodes without this intro anymore, which is great, and we're going to try and tighten it up this week. That's why I'm filling and keep talking. We also occasionally release spoiler casts. So our last episode was a spoiler cast that we recorded way back when, in April I believe it was. Our Patreons heard that in April. We also do After the Podcast occasionally, which is exclusively for our patrons, and all of that audio content is delivered on your own special RSS feed that you put into your podcasting app, and it just gets delivered, and you get a nice gold thumb on the album artwork to say I support them. We also have a YouTube channel which we do release videos on, I promise we do, and our patrons get to see those a couple of days early before anyone else, and I'm thinking of setting up like a Discord server if we can figure out what one of those is.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's great. It's just a place we could chat text to our patrons on a regular basis and kick about ideas and stuff like that. So do that for us, please.
You can also find us on Twitter at ABHPod or on Facebook.com/ABHPod. As we've said, we've got a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ABHPodcast.
It is, you can also contact us via email, abhpod@gmail.com. It is still there. We don't use it very often because no one emails us.
Well, we did get some the other week. On this episode, as Ant said, we're going to try and tighten up these intros a little bit more. Thanks, Annalise. That's we're taking inspiration from your tweet on that one. So, on this show, we've got Spider-Man rejoining the MCU.
We've got Joker.
Escape rooms.
Bouldering.
Prorogation.
Spitting image.
The end of capitalism.
And the Mandela Effect.
But first, I do want to talk about the last episode that went out 2 weeks ago.
Enjoy.
Okay, well, the thing with the last episode being the Endgame thing, which we should probably have put out the 2 weeks before, thinking about it, because Endgame came out between those two.
But 2 weeks before we were actually recording.
Yeah, no, I know.
So, that's why. And because we didn't record 2 weeks ago, that's why we put it out. But then the Blu-ray had been out
for
a week
and a
3
bit.
weeks. So, again, it was timely with the DVD release.
No,
unintentionally as well.
Yeah, I just needed a bit of time off. But
And you went, I need a bit of time off. However, actually looking at it, Endgame's coming out, let's put that out.
Yeah,
so it sort of worked out.
But what I realised was that we didn't understand that film at all.
Oh, really? Because as we just said, I didn't re-listen to the episode. I also haven't re-watched the film.
Yeah. Oh, have you not?
No,
okay.
I haven't re-watched the film since it's been out. So enlighten me.
I think at that point we had both seen it once in the cinema separately.
Yes.
I think after that, I went back and watched it at least once, maybe even twice more in the cinema.
And went, oh.
And I watched it about 3 or 4 days before that spoiler cast went out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And just listening to it, I'm like, no, that's not when that happened. No, but you don't understand. Neither of you understand what that bit was about. Like,
I know one of you is me, but you still don't understand.
Past me is an idiot. Yeah.
Okay.
There were bits that we were very confused about that now, having seen the film a couple more times, I'm like, oh yeah, obvious.
So maybe we should start doing like re-spoiler casts. What we should do is, when we get stuck, we should record a spoiler cast. Watch the film, watch the film. Like, keep watching it over and over again. Then come back and listen to the spoiler cast and comment on us. We should do an episode. We're recording ourselves listening to it and commenting on it.
Like a director's commentary.
Why the fuck did I think that? Director's commentary of our episode. Okay, so we just completely missed the point, did we?
I think we missed a lot of bits that became obvious on a second viewing.
But those suits were CGI, Tom.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
anyone else who was shouting into their device last fortnight,
Tom was with you.
I get you.
Okay. Ugh.
Yeah, it was a tough listen. Just knowing how inaccurate we were on loads of it.
Brilliant.
And not
Okay.
really understanding where things were left at the end with certain characters.
Okay.
And it was
Really? Wow.
so apologies. We actually get it now. Like we've
No, I've not watched it again since, so
oh, good point. Yeah.
I'm still completely in the dark.
Maybe you need to go back and I don't know which way would be better to do it. Either
Listen to it, then watch it.
or watch it and then listen to it
I
and
think
go,
watch
oh my
it and then
God.
listen to it, because if I listen to it, then I'm going to go into watching it with what we've said
Maybe. Yeah.
fresh in my mind and looking at it from that angle. But okay. We were right about like the time nebula, though, weren't we? Like the past nebula and the future nebula,
Yeah.
or did we completely fuck
Yeah,
that up
but
again?
I think we got a little bit confused as to the timelines of what was happening as well.
Right. Well,
'Cause
yeah. I mean, we always do anyway, because
We
when
tend
we go
not
in,
to.
we jump about.
We started off doing it like chronological in
and
talking
then
about
we
it,
were
and
probably completely wrong there as well.
no, but I mean
Yeah.
spoiler cast in general.
Okay.
We used to do it like from the start of the film,
Oh, yeah,
describe
but what
the
I'm
film
saying-
all the way through.
Oh, but when you're talking, we got it in the, because it's a time travel film.
yeah,
We're
it
getting the
gets
time frames
confused,
mixed
yeah,
up
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
and then because we're jumping all over the place.
I think we got about halfway through the episode and then mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy,
Right.
even though they'd been in it
From the
like-
very beginning, because that's how they went and picked up Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Was in
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt's ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, they were already in the ship.
Here
No,
we go.
right,
Here we go. You see?
No, sorry, they were in the ship when Captain Marvel went and picked them up.
Well, no, they weren't, because they would disappeared. But
Not they. I mean,
no, it was
well,
it was the Tony
and
Stark Nebula thing.
We're
yeah.
in the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not do
Yeah.
this. People had enough of it last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
But it's it was a bit of fun. It's all good.
But there has been some good news come out about the Marvel Cinematic
there has,
Universe
hasn't there?
in the
Yeah,
last couple of
because
days.
we didn't. Did
No,
the news
we
come
hadn't.
out?
No. So since we last recorded,
Which was a month ago.
yeah, in that time frame, Spider-Man was no longer in the MCU.
Yeah.
I believe,
Yeah.
but he is.
But now he is again.
Yes.
Because basically Marvel went in asking for 50-50. Even
Well-
though they wanted to co-produce the movie 50-50 with them as well, which apparently they didn't do.
Is that true?
That's,
Or is this the speculate?
No, that was what
Okay.
what came out
It
of
was
the meeting.
50-50, despite the fact that you get Marvel writers,
Yeah.
you get Marvel producing it and
Yeah.
directing it and releasing it, and Sony were like, no, that's too much money. You're like, wait a minute, you're going, yes, you can use your own character, Marvel,
in your film.
but we want more than 50%.
Yeah, well, Marvel apparently were only getting. No, I don't know. It's either 5 or 10%.
Yeah.
It was a small amount,
Yeah,
and the rest of it was going to Sony, even though it was Kevin Feige's kind of direction that was leading them.
yeah. I mean, people were moaning, saying, "Oh, Disney are greedy," blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no,
No, that's not right.
because
It's their fucking character.
it's Marvel's character who Sony have the rights to, and then Marvel were pretty much doing most of the legwork, as far as I know. I don't know if, to be fair, I don't know if Sony are paying
Yeah.
the writers and the directors,
I
or if
don't.
Marvel are. I'm not sure how that, because
I'm
obviously
not sure the
we
ins
don't
and
get
outs.
into that.
No.
But Marvel are doing a shit ton of work.
Yeah. So I can only imagine that was like Sony being like, "Fuck off, 50%, no way." And obviously Disney have come back with a counter, which is probably 20 or 30 or 40% instead.
Just so they can use him.
Well, I was quite upset when the news came out, only because of the ending of not into the Spider-Verse, Far From Home.
Yes.
Like the very end,
Yeah, yeah.
where the thing happens, and
Where
you're
the
like,
thing
"Oh my
happens."
god!"
yeah.
And then,
Wait, what?
And then there was no way that wouldn't have been able to be referenced in any further Marvel movies,
can't, yeah.
or like he's also too intertwined with the Tony Stark thing.
Yeah.
to never
I don't know what happened.
to never
Sorry,
mention
still
him
choked
again.
up about that.
Yeah. It still hits home. So yeah, it's quite cool that he's back in the fold.
Yeah,
And also they also put into the agreement that any other Spider-Man type characters can
that's
cross
what I was
over
going
now
to say.
as well.
Feige put out a statement that basically said, all those other characters in the Spider-Verse, we can now use those in the Marvel films as well.
So he's talking Venom at the
Pretty
moment.
much anyone that
But yeah, kind of
like any
Kraven
of
the
Sinister,
Hunter,
Sinister Six,
Sinister
or like
Six, yeah.
can use those in the Marvel because I think initially it was only like Spider-Man and closely related characters. Cause
Yeah,
you had,
like Aunt May
yeah, because you had MJ who
wasn't
not
Mary Jane.
Yeah,
It's
she
a
wasn't
new
MJ. She's new, so she's not Mary Jane MJ, but she is an M. So
Becky Brandt as well is the blonde-haired girl who does the news things, and she becomes something in.
yeah, so now it's a case of okay, we won't ask for 50-50 as long as we can use the extended Spider-Man characters.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
much,
that's pretty
which
much
is-
it, isn't it?
yeah.
And why not strike that deal?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Because it just makes it so much better. But also there was another thing that came out where it says is it like 2020 or 2021 Disney can use the Netflix Marvel characters.
Oh, is that right?
Apparently
That's
so.
interesting.
So because Disney, I think because obviously Netflix had the rights for those
Yeah,
characters, that's when that ends.
Yeah.
So now they can pull those characters in,
Okay.
and that's when the next Spider-Man film comes out.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
This is
Yeah,
all
yeah.
headcanons,
Headcanon
like
type
speculative
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's so.
I wonder whether they'll use the same actors or whether they'll recast though.
I mean, the actors were kind of perfect, weren't they?
Yeah. And you spent time with them, but it's that whole Flash, the TV series, versus Flash in the DC universe. Like,
Yeah, but
everyone was like, well, Grant Gustin does a really good job of that.
so why wouldn't
Why
you use
wouldn't
him?
you use him? He's got loads of.
But then they're not.
They're not linked in
It's
the
not
same
Barry
way.
Allen.
Yeah.
Are they both Barry Allen?
I don't know because I never saw.
No, you didn't see Dawn of Justice. Did you?
Yeah.
Dawn of Justice? Yeah.
However, I will be going to see Joker.
Yes, because that's not.
Although you said that there's a rumor that it does. Was it you
What's
said
that?
to me that there's a rumor
Oh.
going around that it might tie in?
Yeah, there was something. There was something about it kind of can tie into that. I'm not sure exactly.
But it's just Joaquin
again,
Phoenix.
it's one of these speculative things
Yeah.
that I read the headline and not the article, so I can't elaborate on that much.
But I tell you what,
Mm.
once again, the trailer makes it look amazing.
Yes.
If I go and see it and it's dog shit, which I don't think it will be,
No.
because Joaquin Phoenix is amazing, and it was originally a Martin Scorsese project as well.
Yes, so there's a chance.
So that's a big rubber stamp for me.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's to me like looking at the trailer and stuff it's less. I don't. To me, it still isn't a Joker film.
No.
It's like a character stud in the same way that Jared Leto's Joker wasn't
The
Joker, but he was a really good character.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is going to be a similar sort of situation
Well,
where
this is
it's
it.
a really interesting character study film.
I mean, the thing with the character of the Joker, anyway, is that he's got loads of backstories.
Oh, yeah,
And so
because nobody
theref-
knows
no.
it either, his backstory, really.
And
Like, that's the whole point, I
yeah.
suppose.
And
That's
so,
what-
therefore, you can have multiple films of various different people, because he also acts differently in various
yeah.
incarnations as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could be that there isn't just one Joker,
True.
you know.
True. No, it does look fantastic, but it got the critic scores, like with the previews, it got like rave reviews, didn't it? But then as it started to get
Yeah.
more and more positive reviews, people started slating it.
Yeah,
so
for
it's-
gun violence and stuff like that, like the families of the families of the victims of the Batman shootings with the Dark Knight
yeah.
have said that it kind of glorifies violence and gun violence. Maybe there's something that happens in a cinema in it. I don't know.
Impossible. But you can't. It's weird unless the film's kind of like, oh, there's a Batman film like in the film.
Yeah.
There's a Batman film coming out, and then Joker went and convinced a kid to go and shoot up. I don't think it's going to be that.
I would.
But
I
you
would doubt
can't.
it.
I get oh, it was a Batman film and Joker is from Batman, and they're glorifying gun violence. It's like, well, I mean, so Batman was using guns in like these new DC universe.
Yeah, he had like on the Batmobile, he had like machine guns and cannons.
So
and
you
stuff.
can't,
like,
you can't.
Yeah. It's because it's. I think what the problem with it is the Joker is a bad guy and he's the protagonist, so therefore people are scared that you're going to root for him.
Right,
and it's supposed to be quite a violent film.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
There's that kind of like you're sympathising with a horrible, violent character, and now people are scared that there's going to be people going out and committing crimes because they see this.
Oh, because
it's like
films and video games and music cause violence. I forgot. Oh,
time and time
how
again.
How stupid of me to forget that.
I mean, people have been banging on about it since the 70s and the 80s, We should basically stop making music.
But when good guys use guns, that doesn't cause violence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that prevents more violence.
That prevents the violence.
By
obviously, games like Grand Theft Auto, where the guys are criminals and they're using guns, that promotes violence.
Yeah.
Whereas films like The Fast and the Furious or things like that, when they use guns,
or any western,
where they use guns, that doesn't because they're stopping bad guys with the guns. It's
right.
okay.
Yeah. That's the general line from all gun owners.
I get it.
Everywhere.
Cool. Yeah.
So guns are cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they stop bad people with other guns.
Yeah, and that's why, because like Marilyn Manson looks weird, so he's like glorifying things because he looks weird. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, and he sings songs that.
Yeah, whereas Eminem talking about violence, it's okay because he looks normal.
Yeah.
It's cool. I get it. I get it. Right.
Is that straight now?
I've got it now. I've got it now. Anyway.
But yeah, so that will be.
It does look like a good film, though.
Yeah, it does.
Let's get back to
that.
I
have every faith that it will be.
And Joaquin Phoenix is.
He looks really cool. He looks like
terrifying.
Yeah. Scary.
We on the back of Joaquin Phoenix, and then going from the last time we recorded, we watched Signs with Chloe.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good film.
It is.
I really, really like it.
It's one of M. Night Shyamalan's more underrated. Good
I always
ones.
forget that end bit with the alien like holding the boy, because the boy has the asthma attack, doesn't he? And then you've actually got the alien in their living room, and he's cradling the boy, and then he sort of blasts the sleeping.
Yeah.
Or see, I'm watching it, and when I watched it now, I'm looking at it, and the kid's passed out because of the asthma attack, and the alien's like spraying this mist in his face, and it's like we're assuming that he's actually trying to knock the boy out. But what if it's like what if he's got like Ventolin?
Like a pathogen.
Yeah, he's got Ventolin. He's actually trying to bring back. And then Joaquin Phoenix just like slugs him around the head with a baseball bat and starts beating him to death. Huh. So what if the alien was actually good?
Yeah. I've not.
But he looked weird, so he couldn't be.
That's right. Yeah. Are we understanding?
Yes.
them?
Sorry. I keep forgetting.
Anyone who doesn't look like you is a bad guy.
Yeah. But no, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I've not watched that probably since it came out in Blockbuster, I'd imagine. What was that? Early 2000s?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
it's
haven't
been a
seen
long
it for
time.
years.
But I remember it being really good, and it scared me when I was I was mid-ish teens.
Yeah, it's that part where you've got the birthday party in South
you've
America
got, like,
or somewhere.
The Bigfoot style.
It's the Bigfoot style video, isn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just great. And then you've got that underlying story with the neighbour who killed his
that's right.
wife, wasn't there? And he was just like, I've got one locked in the closet, like in my pantry. And like he sticks the carving knife underneath the door to try and find him in the reflection. Fucking creepy. But yeah, because I said I wanted to watch Sixth Sense with her, but then that might be a bit too much.
Yeah, because last time we were talking about horror films that would be safe for Chloe to watch, weren't we?
Yeah. And then obviously we thought, Shyamalan. Well, why don't we just go Signs? Because it's less. It's more about the creepy factor than.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. She enjoyed it. She really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's cool. I don't know if we've watched any other ones. I think that's the last one we watched with her. But anywho's,
I was quite disappointed yesterday because the new Scorsese film, The Irishman. It's got like De Niro, Pacino, and they've even got Joe Pesci out of retirement to come back and do this film.
Okay, I don't think I've seen any.
It's going to be Netflix
Oh, okay.
But it's also, I think it's going to get a limited cinema release, but it's mainly for Netflix.
Okay.
And I read somewhere it was out on the 27th, but it's the 27th of October. So I went on there yesterday. I
Ready
was like,
for
come
it.
on. Oh, it's only the trailers.
Oh shit.
But it's like, it's a gangster film, obviously.
Well, you,
Set across like 5 decades. And so they de-aged De Niro, Pacino,
Wow.
and Pesci. They do all that. And it looks like Pacino looks a bit weird. But
he always did. Did he not?
But yeah, it looks really good.
Oh, okay.
But they also, like I read somewhere earlier on, they had like movement coaches. Each of them had their own movement coach to be like, you don't move like this anymore. You have to move like the younger version of yourself.
Wow.
And this is how you move in those early films.
Wow.
So they had to learn to kind of like take stairs quicker and stuff like that because they're all old men.
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
in their 70s.
Yeah, like they're all putting hands on banisters now as they're walking upstairs.
Maybe taking one step at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah. 1 foot up, match. 1 foot up, match.
Apparently there was Pacino was like, yeah, I had one particular scene that I had to run up a flight of stairs and I can't remember the last time I ran up a flight of stairs. I have no idea how I managed to do it, but I did.
Wow.
But it looks really good. Looks like, obviously the whole thing must have cost an absolute fucking fortune.
Yeah, which is weird because I was listening to a podcast on the way up and they would like literally as I was entering your road, I think they were talking about how like all the streaming like VOD, video on demand companies are actually in a hole, like they're losing money at the minute.
Yeah.
Like they're not making money, they're running at a loss
Yeah, I've heard that
because
as
of the
well.
amount of money they're spending.
Yeah.
But the whole point is they're spending all this money now, so eventually like Netflix will be only Netflix originals. They'll have enough content that they won't need all this third party content now, so they won't be paying licensing costs.
Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it?
But
I
then-
assume they pay the producing, like Universal or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
to use their
To license
property.
it.
Yeah.
But so what will eventually happen is people will start becoming subscribers to watch all of the
Yeah.
Netflix originals that they've already spent all that money on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's when they start making
It's a
profit.
long game.
But that's when you were saying about the de-aging thing. I was like, that's expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they're running at a loss,
It just means that every single shot in that film is an effect shot.
yeah.
And like everything in that shot, basically, as well.
But I mean, most shots are these days
Yeah,
anyway.
it's true. Yeah, yeah.
Like, to some extent. I mean, there's always going to be like color correction and things like that. Is that an effect shot? That's just sort of part of.
yeah.
But yeah, most films have an element of like computer effects anyway. Like,
Yeah, true.
I don't even.
I mean, one person who would definitely know is Annalise from
Yeah.
California.
Well, yeah,
I know she doesn't work on the effects side, but she knows people that do.
and she knows what films come through that studio.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of films use that studio. Yeah, I don't know. I need to look that up then. I think
But it's like, yeah, like you say, there's just even like color correction and stuff like that counts as a.
there's some form. Is that editing or is that effects? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that part of the editing process or is
Yeah.
it part of the effects process?
I don't know.
But
maybe Ollie would know as well, seeing as he edits.
I mean, a really interesting way, a really interesting thing is when you watch. I've spoken about them before. The Corridor Digital guys.
Right. Yes.
I talked about them
yeah.
before. I actually replied to one of the tweets with, or was it a tweet? With one of their videos. The yes,
that
it was the
the-
Boston Dynamics
Yeah.
one.
there.
But they do like a series now where they react to effect shots, and they have like things in there that there's effects that you don't realise are effects. There was one, I can't remember what it is. There's a certain scene where I think it's a fight scene, and there's a table that's been just put into the shot that wasn't there because it would be
Right.
too dangerous to have it there during the
Right.
scene.
Yeah.
And they've just put a table in. Like,
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it? You just can't trust what you're
you
seeing
can't
at
anymore.
all anymore.
You can't
know?
anymore. And like we said with, like, again, the Endgame stuff, those white suits weren't there.
Yeah. But you watch it, and
And they
even
are
with
there.
that knowledge,
It still
you kind
looks
of watch
real.
and you're like, I can't really see the seams, you know.
Yeah, it's great. Another tweet. Who was it? You and somebody were having a conversation. I think it was you and Andy about guns and stuff. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
put that one in from the Indian Terminator film.
He needed to know what that film was, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because it looks so interesting.
Because we went and did an escape room last night.
Yes, that was it. That was what the thread was, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I need to remember what I've seen that film, but I can't remember what it is."
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't post that.
Yeah. Sorry, that was me. Yeah.
Because he described it, and I was like, I posted The Punisher. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's.
I had to get Twitter open, and I was
like, oh, okay, yeah. It's. Have you never seen it?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's absolutely.
So is it
brilliant.
like a Bollywood version of the Terminator?
Yes.
Excellent.
But I mean, you saw that GIF. You can see where it's going.
Yeah.
It gets weird. No, that's not weird. It gets weird.
Because I thought it might have been like a Japanese film or something.
No. It's Bollywood.
Right.
It's pure. It's.
Because I've seen some nutty Japanese films.
The thing is, I don't know the name of the film, so I just search Indian Terminator because that's what everyone. It's called Endhiran. Endhiran.
Okay. Have you watched it? Have you?
I've seen like the scene.
Right.
I've seen the scene. I've not seen the whole film because it will be terrible. But that particular scene that shot's from, it's
he
just
basically turns around
dumb.
and has like 100 gun barrels sticking out of his arm or something.
No, just guns.
They're actual guns.
Whole guns.
Oh, okay, right.
He pulls them from behind his back, spins them, and just he's holding them like together. Like, anyone who's seen it knows the scene we're talking about. Yeah. But it gets really weird.
Okay.
It gets even weirder.
I'm gonna have to find that later on.
Oh, we'll watch it together because I want to see it again. Because it's brilliant. We might even film it for Patreon.
Who knows? So we went and did this escape room last night. It was pretty good actually. We went down to there was a place in Margate.
Have you done one before?
One, yeah.
Okay.
Joe and I did one.
I've heard about the ones down in Margate actually.
Yeah, they're really good.
Quite good.
Yeah, like compared to the one we'd done, this was much more immersive.
Right.
The one we did was like it was set on a pirate ship, and you're in the brig. First off, so there were four of us in this tiny little section,
and is it completely
and you had to unlock
out?
it, and it looked like it was small. It was like each room was no bigger than this. The pod.
Okay, so it was multiple rooms.
There were 3 rooms.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The last one was like the size of the other 2 combined. So you had one room, then another room, then a big room on the side, which was the deck of the ship.
Right.
So basically, you got out. You had to unlock the galley bit.
Yeah.
You were in the brig. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you had to unlock the door somehow to get into the rest, to kind of get into the captain's room at the back, and then onto the deck.
Yeah.
It was really well made, but really dark. And they were saying that the light conditions will change depending on how well you're doing.
So if they think you need more help, they'll make it
the
brighter.
Lights come on,
so it's easier
more.
To see things.
Yeah, but
that's really good.
We completed it within 58 minutes.
Wow.
58 minutes on the dot.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Have any of you done these before?"
Yeah.
We were like, 2 of us have done one, and they were like, "People don't finish this in under an hour."
Yeah.
They just it doesn't happen.
It depends on like your mind. Now I've done one as a work thing, like a team building thing. Before we opened the hospital, we all went to an escape room as like a end of our training thing.
Yeah.
Now I was on a team. There was 6 of us. Yeah, 6 on a team. And we did. It was like the Joker's room, and we were in prison cell, 2 prison cells, so 3 and 3 in a prison cell. You've got to get out of your prison cell. You're allowed to shout over to talk to the people in the other cells. In fact, you need to.
Yeah.
And then you get into the main room as a 6 team.
Yeah.
Now, I've got an analytical mind. I can figure stuff out. I was the only one on my team that had that sort of...
Right, yeah.
Like, not saying I'm cleverer than them. Like, they just don't have puzzle solving.
No, it depends on your lateral thinking and things like that.
To a certain extent, I can figure stuff out. So we were like, right, you work on that one, you work on that one, you work on that one. Now I'm like working on one. Cool, I've got that one. Oh, you need help over that. Going over and helping them with that one. And then, you going. Oh, maybe if you do this, and yeah. And then they sort of figure it out after that. And so we didn't escape, but then I was the only one that
you were kind of taking
worked
charge if
that
you like.
way. Yeah. I think, if we had, if I had one other person maybe that thought the same way as me.
Yeah, I think there were times last night
we were
where,
close.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. Like our first one that we did, we were 3 or 4 puzzles away from getting it.
Yeah.
But it was only because we were stuck on one for like 20 minutes. We were just like, what the fuck is going on with this?
Yeah. I mean, we in these prison cells, both cells had a safe that had like 4 padlocks on it.
Right.
And they were all combination locks, and you had to find the combinations.
Okay.
But at one point, we had a combination for their safe, and they had a combination for our safe.
Okay.
It took us so long to get out of the prison cells that we didn't have much time in the fun house part.
Because the other problem is that, like, when you get stuck in a way of thinking, well, this has to be the way it works. You're a bit screwed in that situation if you get stuck down a logic path. And you can't see your way out of it. It is difficult.
It's one of those things where you've got a photograph, and then you find somewhere like it's like a replication of the photograph, but it's like the silhouettes of the people with numbers on each person. Now we had one, and we figured out what it was, and the other guys had, and they couldn't figure out how to solve it. So we're shouting over, telling them how to solve the photograph part, and it's just, I love them. I think they're great. I've got, in fact. And it's something I want to do. I have an escape room in a box.
Oh, right. Oh, I see.
So how it works is like I've got it. I can set it up at home, and I invite people. Like you send invites, and it's themed, and like you're supposed to dress up and have music and stuff like that.
So like almost like a murder mystery evening kind of thing.
But it's an escape room type thing. Yeah. But it comes in a box, like it's almost like a tabletop version.
Yeah, I think they were selling those at this place.
Yeah, and it's one that I'd like to do at some point, but it's just finding people that would do it.
Yeah.
But it would be quite cool.
We're quite up for that.
Yeah. You just need to find a group of people.
Yeah. I think you need more than 4 people. I think 3
I think
is
it's
not enough.
6 to 8. I think it's 6 to 8. I think Liz, her mind doesn't work like that. She doesn't have the analytical, like she doesn't have the lateral.
Yeah.
Like she'll look at it and go, what? And you're like this, and she'll like, no, don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas
enough.
Jo does, but she likes to have time to think about things. She likes to step back and watch for a bit.
So she doesn't like to talk through the problem. She likes to think about the problem. I like to talk through a problem.
Yeah, because in those situations where it's a group of you, you need to talk through the problem. Yeah. That's the thing.
Whereas Jo likes to stand back, listen.
Yeah.
Whilst analysing it, listening to you talking, not being involved in the conversation.
Basically,
listening and going, this.
Yeah, basically, that's how she works.
Yeah. I think
internalized.
I don't want to say it's talent, because I like I say, I've only worked with that group of people.
Yeah.
So compared to that group of people, I'm brilliant at these. But compared to other people, I might be just average at it. But I think it comes from playing Resident Evil. But I didn't play Resident Evil. I was watching my dad play Resident Evil and my brother.
Yeah.
Like, they were taking it in turns, and there was me, my dad, my brother, and one of my brother's mates.
Right.
We're all sat there while they're playing, trying to solve the puzzles together.
Yeah.
So it comes from that, I think. And it's just such a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, I watch a lot of I used to love watching Crystal Maze.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's basically what an escape room is. It's Crystal Maze puzzles all in one room. It's exactly
that's
the same
very
thing.
true.
So you just got to take that, and you've got to remember all the times that people were doing stupid shit in those puzzles. And you're like, no, do it like this. Why can't you see?
Why can't you see it? Oh, perhaps it's harder when you're there.
Yeah.
Which, yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, this one, there were like things hidden in the floor that
Wow.
you couldn't see. I mean, it was me, Jo, Andy, and Heather, and they'd gone off into the room, and I knew we were missing something, and so I went back into another room and was like, has anyone pulled that trap door up? There was a ring in the floor.
Yeah.
And they were like, no. So I opened it, and there was a little maze with a block with a key attached to it, and you had to get it to the bit where it could come out.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I was like, I've got the key. I've got the walk through into the thing. We did some stuff, and then we were like, right, we got to a point where we had nothing left to do in this room.
We have a key.
And there was obviously something that needed to be done that was from the other rooms.
Yeah.
And Heather went back through, and I hadn't put the trap door back down.
You had to put it down?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
she fell over.
Oh.
And she's fractured her foot.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was something to do with a puzzle.
No.
Oh fucking hell! Poor Heather.
Yeah.
So you feel terrible.
I felt like a cunt the
Yeah.
entire way home. Because the thing is, you're encouraged to rush in these
Yeah,
things. So you're
and
like,
not
I've got
look.
it, bang, straight through to the next room where you need to use the key.
Yeah.
And you forget. And Jo said that she nearly fell down it as well,
Yeah.
but she didn't close it either.
And
And like
oh my God.
there were 2 points at which it could have been closed.
Yeah, but
because the aim of the game is to just get to the
But
end as quickly as you can.
look at it the other way as well. Is Jo almost fell down it,
Yeah.
but she didn't. Whereas Heather did fall down it.
Yeah.
So it's not. So yes, if it was closed,
Yeah.
that would have completed. That's probably like 80% of it.
Yeah.
But it's also situational awareness when you run
Yeah.
into a room.
Yeah.
So Jo managed not to fall down
Yeah.
it, whereas Heather did.
Yeah.
Well, what did Jo do differently that Heather didn't?
I think Heather
it's-
backed into the room.
So
That's
she
the thing.
wasn't-
So she wasn't looking forward. She was, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's the thing. I'm not. Obviously, it's not. It's a combination. It's not.
Yeah.
Shit, that's terrible. That's really
But
bad.
because they'd driven us down there as well, because we were going to go out and camp.
So you're sat in the car like.
all the way home.
Still managed to get out though.
Yeah, we still managed it. She's a trooper. She didn't
Yeah.
show any kind of real. I mean, she was obviously hurt,
Yeah.
but like she was like, "No, carry on, do the
I'll
room."
just
And
sit
we were
here.
just like, it was a very kind of like more methodical approach that we took to the very end.
Just
of the
slow
game.
down a little bit. But did the guys? Not
Oh yeah,
come
no,
into-
they came in. They stopped the timer. They came in. They were like, "Right, how is everything?"
Yeah.
They did look after us.
Oh, okay. So they did stop it at that point, and then she said, "No,
like
carry
people
on."
ran down. You could hear them coming down the stairs.
Really?
Yeah.
But she said, "Carry on," and they were like,
Yeah.
"Okay, right, fine,
Yeah.
okay." Oh, that's cool. That's
But
very good. Then.
They went to the hospital after dropping us off to have an X-ray.
And you were like, "Please be a sprain. Please be a sprain.
because
Please be a sprain."
apparently she'd broken that foot
No.
a couple of years ago, and she was like, "It's down the same kind of area.
So
I
she
can feel it."
refractured.
And I was just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Bless. Oh dear. Bless her. Oh.
So she's in a cast now.
Yeah.
Because they were joking on the way there, like, what if we don't get out? We'll just have to phone in sick on Monday and now she's...
No, she is going to phone in sick.
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't know. What does she do?
She teaches.
Oh, she teaches with Jo
yeah,
at
with
the
Jo.
same school.
Yeah.
So, not a PE teacher though.
No.
Right. Okay. Cool. So she could go. In theory, she could go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But, yeah.
Oh.
So, apologies again.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's really bad.
Yeah, it kind of... Because then, like I say, we were going to go out for dinner in Canterbury afterwards on the
Yeah.
way back, but we were just like,
No,
can't.
you go to the
Yeah,
hospital.
Yeah.
Was she? Did she know, like? Was she like? No, let's still go for dinner.
No.
Okay. No, she was definitely like,
Yeah.
let's go to hospital. Okay.
Yeah, she was the one who...
No, because generally that's what people do.
Yeah.
Like if she's gone through the actual thing. No, we'll still go out for dinner. I'll get it looked at another because that's what humans do.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste their time. But I suppose no, as she'd fractured it before in
Yeah.
the same place, it was
I
like.
think she knew.
Yeah.
Just felt like
Bless.
such an arsehole.
Bless.
I really did.
Yeah, no,
there's
I
that
get
whole
it.
thing
I
of
get it,
like,
yeah.
I should have just put the fucking trapdoor down.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like I say, it was dark in there as well, and
Yeah,
the
that
trapdoor,
doesn't help.
The trapdoor was painted. The maze was black.
So even if she was looking, there's a good
Yeah.
chance she probably wouldn't have seen it anyway. I say even if she was looking, assuming she wasn't, but you know. No.
Yeah.
Bless her.
But they do quite a good
I
thing.
can just see Liz doing that though, because she's
Right, yeah. Well, this is what
she used to always twisting her ankle, always
Yeah.
rolling over her ankle. She hasn't like in quite a few years now,
Mm.
but it was like a weekly occurrence. She would just roll her ankle, like
Yeah.
really weak ankles. So I could just see it would be her
Well, I mean, had I gone in there
with me leaving it open.
right? Yeah,
It would have
That's
been.
it. No, precisely. I mean, if Joe had gone in there and it had been me left it open, I'd have felt just as bad, if not worse. But if I'd gone over in there, I was wearing brothel creepers,
Which are the
maxi sole.
giant? Yeah.
It's got like 2 inches of platform on the bottom of it.
Brothel
like
creep. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'd have popped my ankle through my skin. I think if I'd gone down
because
in
you would
that.
have been high.
Because
Yeah.
it's that extra bit of crunchy.
Why are you saying that? Why did you use popped my ankle through my skin?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been nice.
Well, we
But like I say, it's the whole thing of the escape room is to make you go,
yeah,
we've
you
done
rush.
it, bang.
That's the yeah.
But yeah,
Ouch.
but they do a couple in there. They do this pirate one. They do
Quite a big
they do an Egyptian one, and they do a one in a mine,
right.
which I can only imagine is just even darker, and because you get a miner's helmet. I saw helmets with lamps on them.
Wow.
Like they're proper immersive.
Wow. So I know the one that I went to, it's in Maidstone in the Royal Star Arcade.
Oh yeah,
upstairs.
yeah.
The one we did was the Joker's Fun House. When you're in like the cells to start with. The other, they've got another one in there, which is the Diamond Heist, and you've got to crack a safe.
Yeah.
And you've got like a computer on the wall that's giving you clues and things like that you've got to crack, and apparently that one's really good as well. So
yeah,
I want to do one.
Yeah, I'd quite like to do
one.
more. The thing with this one down in Margate is that you get a little charm on a bracelet at the end of it. Like we've got one with a little pirate's
like
the wheel.
I'd just say you've done that one.
Yeah, and then you can go back and do the others, and you get these things at the end. And if you get all three, you then do the fourth one for free.
Oh wow, that's really good.
Which is quite cool.
Yeah.
So it's another way of gamifying your experience.
Collect 3, get the fourth one
Yeah.
free. Yes, you've already spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Have another go.
It's like 20 quid a throw, basically, per person.
And when you think, like, you did it in under an hour, but they say normally it takes people... How long what's the time?
I mean, the timer was 60 minutes.
Okay.
But they were like, normally people take, 10 to 15 minutes longer than that.
So maybe you've got a 90-minute slot, and if you're close, they let you keep going.
Yeah, because I think what we read on the website before we went down there, because we were trying to figure out when to book dinner for.
Yeah.
And on the website, I'm pretty sure it said 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But whether that includes your briefing before you go in there.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't really know. But yeah, they may well give you an extra 10 or 15 minutes to try and complete it if you're close.
The good thing about the one in Maidstone as well is it's got a bar downstairs that does craft beer.
That's a really nice place to eat as well.
Yes, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had pizza, and I think they gave us free chips because there were so many of us.
Oh, right.
And then out the hospital manager
really
put
nice
money behind the bar as well.
Yeah, they're really nice people in there.
Yeah.
The service is pretty good. What's it called? 36 degrees or something.
Something like that, yeah. I assume the escape room's still above it.
I think it is, yeah. Though I haven't been in there for a couple of months, but yeah.
Yeah, so you went there last night. Last night I took Chloe to my bouldering gym.
Yes. I saw a video that you put up.
Because I've been going on my own, which is fine because I meet people down there and I chat to them. And there's a couple of guys I've seen a few times now that I've spoken to. And it's really good. It's great, and you pay your money and you can stay in there as long as you want. And
oh, really?
Because I've gone a few times now, I'm able to take Chloe.
Right.
She's obviously a child. I'm able to take her and supervise her.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good way for her to burn off energy, but I get less climbing done.
Yeah.
Because I'm supervising a child who keeps running about, and it's like, you can't keep running like there's people climbing. Stop it. But I was doing something, I heard like someone laughing, and I turned around and there was a guy sat on a sofa and talking, and then he got up and was hobbling towards the walls, and his wife or girlfriend was there. And I was like, oh, I said, are you climbing with that, or have you done that whilst you've been here? And she was like, no, he broke it yesterday. And I was like, and you're climbing with the broken toe?
Of course.
And he was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, well, a couple of weeks ago he was climbing with a broken finger.
Jesus Christ.
And as they were walking off, she went, he's a dickhead. So Chloe wet herself laughing. Yeah, there's a guy just climbing with like a broken toe. But I don't know, I told you about the documentary film, called Free Solo?
Yes.
That I watched, and like there's clips in it of the guy climbing with like a boot on, where he's obviously fractured his foot or something, and he's climbing with a broken foot. Just mad. Like, climbers are mad.
Yeah.
Like some of the moves you see them do as well.
I think it's it's almost like an adrenaline sport, isn't it? It's that pushing yourself to the very, very edge.
There's a definite endorphin release, I think, because some of the routes some of them are quite easy. Some of them. They're quite easy. I'm still at quite a low level, but there's a few as I'm progressing that the top hold on most of them are what they call jugs, so you can get your hand inside it. And the idea when you're climbing on boulders is the top hold you're supposed to match, so you put your both hands on at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to the harder ones that I'm climbing at the minute, which are still relatively low level, you get to the top and you've only got 1 foothold, so you're balanced on 1 foothold and it's quite small.
Yeah.
So you're on the tips of your toes. Your other foot sort of out to the side to balance, and then the top hold isn't a jug; it's just like a flat thing that you've got, and you're trying to. Yeah, so you're trying to get. You're on 1 foot, trying to match on this thing that you can't actually grip.
Yeah.
So you're sort of balancing, and you're like 4 meters in the air, and you're like, well, this is a bit. So you're obviously getting a bit of an endorphin release. You're getting that adrenaline release, but it's not like a rush. It's just like a constant. And the problem is, you get down, and then you want to climb the next one straight away. Yeah. But you shouldn't because you're tired. Yeah, yeah. And you need to be fresh.
You've got that kind of adrenaline shake going.
But that's the fact that your forearms are pumped and your fingers are quite sore, so you're not actually going to get up. You're just going to knacker yourself out. Yeah. But you want to get straight back on. But no, it's good. It's really good fun. And Chloe seemed to like it, and she wanted to go again today. It's like, but it's expensive.
We can't go all the time.
It's not expensive. It's just like last night it cost to take her in. I've got my own shoes and chalk now. So I just had to hire her shoes and pay both her entry. It's like £21. Right. But you can stay in there for 2, 3, 4 hours if you want. Yeah.
So you can get your money's worth.
But we went last night and it was £21, and she wants to go again today, which would be £21. Yeah. It's like, no, I would. Yeah. I really want to.
No, that's it, isn't it? Like when you find a thing that you really enjoy doing, you want to do it a lot.
Yeah. Which is why I need to get membership. Yeah. But it's £50 a month.
Yeah. But then that's only 2 and a bit goes, isn't it?
Well, no, for me it's £10 to go.
Oh right. What without the hire?
Yeah, so I used to hire. I would pay £10 entry, and then hire my chalk and shoes, which is another £5. But I've got my own chalk and shoes now, so it's only £10 for me to go now. Okay, but if I'm going once a week, it works out as like 40, £50 a month, depending how many weeks are in the month. But if I had the membership, I'd go more. Yeah. But can I afford £50 a month? Well, yes, because I'm already paying about that. Yeah. But if I get, once they've got it sorted out down there and I get my NHS card, I can get it for £35 a month. Yeah, well, which is much more affordable.
Hang on for that, yeah.
But then Chloe wants to go, and I think she gets concessionary prices anyway, so it's like $7.50, I think, or £8 for her to go. So, yeah,
there'll be a point at which it works out.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Stick out for that £35.
Yeah.
One.
Or I might just try and convince Liz
that it's a good idea. If we save something here,
yeah, I will give up this. Yeah. Because I just really enjoy it. If I had the membership, I would go down 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. Because of my work schedule. Well, Liz and Chloe are at work and school.
Yeah, it's something for you to do that isn't just sitting on your ass.
During the day.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's not busy. Yeah. And I can get quite a lot of climbing done. Yeah. And then I can go up to the cafe and have a coffee and a sandwich. Yeah. You know. But yeah, it's really, really good. There's a weird thing. So because I wanted to start going bouldering, I'm a YouTube whore. So I started looking at bouldering videos on YouTube, and I found this YouTube channel, and they climb. I think they're based in London. And they climb quite a few walls in London, and they do a few videos where they got the setters. So they're the route setters. There was a couple of people on there. And I've been watching them for quite a while now, a couple of months now. And then I was talking to Liz the other day, and we were saying about, because they changed, there's 2 of my favourite routes in the gym they changed on Friday night. I said, they set new routes. And Liz said, Colin, this is one of the solicitors at work, his daughter does that. I was like, what? She goes, she's a route setter. I said, what, like locally? Or she said, no, in London. Holly, you've met her. And I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, Holly is a route setter in London. And I loaded up a video. I went, her? And she was like, yeah, that Holly. So these videos I've been watching, this girl is part of that channel. Okay. or friends with the guys from
Yeah,
that channel,
yeah.
and it's someone I've actually met a couple of
right.
years ago. So that was really weird.
Small world.
That's weird. Yeah, but it's cool because I don't know. It's just cool. It's just so weird. Like when I've been watching it. I don't know. And then Liz was just like, "Oh, Holly, yeah, she does it up in London." I'm like, "That's what are the chances?"
Yeah.
What are the chances? I was like, "Is it her?" She's like, "Yes." I was like, "I thought she looked familiar when I watched the video, but I wasn't. I've only met her once."
Yeah, so it's that
but
kind
I met
of
her in
fleeting...
Maidstone. Like her dad plays in a band. They played at the White Horse, and we went to see them, and she was there.
Okay.
But it's just weird. I don't know. But yeah, climbing is good fun. It's something I think I could actually stick at for a while now. Because if I remember rightly, a couple of weeks ago, I said, or last month, I said, I'm apprehensive to talk about it because once I talk about it, it's something I'll stop doing eventually.
Yeah.
But I've been going sort of regularly for the last couple of months now. So,
play.
And it's something I want to do all the time. I just always want to get down there. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, I can imagine. But that's the point, isn't it? It's exercise at the end of the day. It's supposed to.
Yeah, I think I'm trying things a bit too hard at the minute. There's what they call crimps, which are they're just like tiny little flat holds that you literally with the fingertips.
Yeah.
And you've sort of got to pull your weight in the opposite direction to hold yourself on it. And I'm starting to climb on them, but I can feel like at the bases of my fingers, like I can feel it quite tight.
Yeah.
Quite sore.
Yeah.
So obviously, because all it is, your fingers is just tendons, and you're sort of holding your weight
Yeah, there's
on your
not a
tendons.
lot of actual like muscle or anything in there, is there?
And it's quite a common injury. Like people sort of try and progress too quickly and end up tearing their tendons.
Yum.
Yeah. And shoulders are another one, which I felt last night.
Right.
I sort of slipped while I was holding myself with one hand and sort of swung and then twisted, and I was like, that hurts, and let go straight away.
Yeah.
I managed not to injure myself.
Yeah.
But that was close.
It's like the number of like gigs and practices that I'm doing at the moment as well. Because we for some reason, like with Sue about to move to America, we're getting more gigs than we've ever had.
Typically.
It's ridiculous. But I've hurt something in my fret hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's pulling.
And I've been really trying not to practice, not to do anything that because it's just, there's something in there.
Oh, is it? Can you feel it? It's like the whole.
It's like it's across the tendons. I don't know. I don't know whether it's the back or the front. It's somewhere in there. Do you know what I mean?
You can feel it in here.
Yeah.
In the centre. Yeah. It's like a cramp. Is it? Kind of feels like a cramp.
It feels. In all honesty, it feels like I've pulled something.
Yeah.
In my hand, which is obviously I can't have.
No, you can't.
But it's possible tendon damage.
Yeah.
Just because I remember when we used to do, we gigged quite a lot. It was like a couple of times a month.
Once, twice a month. Yeah.
And that was fine because we were only doing like half-hour slots.
Yeah.
But this is like 2 hours.
We were playing 50 songs.
Yeah. But being 2 hours, it's just so much more.
2 hours, several times a month.
Yeah, like if we're doing it 2-3 times a month and practices as well, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, as you said before, my job is typing.
Yeah.
And then
So
my
you've got the
hobby
RSI.
is that exact same motion but flipped the other way.
Yeah. It's inverted typing.
Yeah. So I've just got to, I don't know. It feels right now, but I have rested it quite a bit.
But it's certain, I suppose, with like fretting like on a bass or playing guitar, it's I remember certain songs.
Yeah.
If I was holding the same shape for too long.
Yeah.
Or certain shapes would like really pull, and it would be really uncomfortable. Yeah. So as well as climbing, I'm playing the guitar more than I have recently as well. So my like tips of my fingers are going to be like fucking rocks.
Yeah, no, I know.
At some point.
I don't even think I've got
calloused.
I don't even think I've got fingerprints anymore.
With climbing, all of my knuckle joints are getting calloused.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I can imagine, like the whole finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least it's the left one.
It's just so ridiculous. Like you, like when I'm climbing, I climb. I go, fuck, that really hurt. Let's give it another go.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like you could slip off. Like the second time I went, I think I slipped off of a hold, and I ended up with a flapper. It's like a flap of skin on my little finger, like just right there, like in my middle knuckle. Just, and I just flap, and I was like, "Ow! Have you got a plaster so I can keep climbing?"
Yeah, I'm gonna get the power through it.
Yeah, it's just about healed now, like because it wasn't healing at first because I was going too regularly.
Well, it's also on a joint as well. When
yeah, so it wasn't healing. I'd just keep like, it would still be tender, but it's actually right now. It's just stupid. But never mind. But last night actually was unusual because every time I've been before, it's always been adults. So I was a bit apprehensive about taking Chloe. But last night there was just kids.
Okay.
There was like quite a few kids down there. One in particular, that was just a girl climbing on her own. She was probably about Chloe's age.
Yeah.
And she was climbing these routes, and I was just like, I might as well just go home because she was just like that good. She was climbing the hardest routes in there. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. But then I actually got talking to her because that's just what you do with climbing. You just talk to people.
Yeah.
And she was saying that actually the manager of this gym used to teach her at the Scouts Hut in Maidstone.
Oh, right.
Like she started climbing at one place, and then they were like, right, you're too advanced for us to teach you at your age now, and you're too young to go up to the next grade. Like we can't teach you at that grade. So then she went and found this, like the Scouts Hut, and the manager there taught her how to climb. She's been climbing about 3 years.
Okay.
It was just absolutely ridiculous what she was doing, because it's moves that as an adult we could just reach and grab.
Yeah.
But she's small, so she has to
jump.
jump.
Yeah.
Like, and grab it, and like, she just holds on as she's swinging out, and you're like, what?
That's mad.
But it's great. But yeah, Chloe just woke up this morning and was like, can we go climbing again? I'd love to.
I would like to, but money.
Oh well.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? Like, I'm getting to the point where like I don't do anything anymore. I've literally just been working myself to the bone. I need a fucking holiday.
Yes.
And the only other thing left in the news is everything to do with our political situation. I don't really want to touch on it.
Nothing's happening.
Well, it isn't. Like, he's a fucking crook.
Yeah. Do we need to explain what's been going on to our international listeners?
I don't know.
Because we'll try. I suppose we can do brief, but not try to get angry about it. We will, but let's not rant. Yeah. So there was the.
It's been ages. It's been ages since we've been talking about any of this, because we've avoided it for ages because we're just so bored of talking about it.
We'll just talk about the main recent thing. So Boris Johnson wanted to suspend Parliament.
Prorogation,
which is the word I always struggle to. Like, how do you say that word? There's too many R's and O's in it. Prorogation, which basically he said, and all of the Brexiteers were saying, oh, it's not to buy him time so Parliament can't discuss Brexit. It's just, it's usual, it's standard, it happens all the time. Yeah. It just happens to be happening at this time.
Yeah, and it just happens to be happening for 5 weeks instead of 2.
Yeah, which is the usual.
Yeah.
And then obviously once that happened, once he decided that and the Queen, it got royal assent, because he has to go to the Queen and go, I want to do this for this reason. And then she goes, yes, that seems fine. Yes. Or no, you can't do that.
But it's very, very rare that she would ever say no.
Because
she doesn't have...
Prime Minister is her main advisor. So if he tells her it's a good idea, she'll go, okay, well, I trust your judgment, Prime Minister. Go ahead. So he got royal assent, and then we had that absolutely fucking... I don't like John Burkrow. He pisses me off. But his speech was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant. Who's the person that came to get him? It's a weird fucking... it makes it seem really culty.
Yeah. What was his fucking name? It wasn't Dominic Cumming, was it?
No. It was a woman.
She's got Black Rod. Sorry.
Black Rod.
Yeah.
So she's called Black Rod, which is just badass. It's so metal, isn't it? She just stands there looking menacing, like, come with me. Because John Burkrow is the Speaker of the House of Commons. Yeah. If he's not there, they can't hold court, basically.
There's no session. Yeah.
There's no session. So she has to escort him out of the building. Parliament was suspended. So we can't have talks about Brexit. There can be no discussions. Nothing can
anything
pass.
else.
Nothing can happen. Or the rest of the country. It basically
Forces
suspended Parliament.
Yeah,
I mean, they do it in the States, don't they? They suspend
Congress
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do it here, but it's normally after a general election has happened, and they need to sort out who's going to be sitting where. All that kind of stuff.
It's administrative time, basically.
Essentially, it kind of resets Parliament, and it happens every few years. Yeah, normally after an election or something. But obviously, because of Brexit, there hasn't been the time to be able to do this. And so this last parliamentary session has been going on for something like 5 years.
Yeah.
Without a break, which was his justification for such a long period of prorogation.
Yeah, we haven't had one for 5 years, so let's have a 5-week gap.
Yeah.
Yes, it just happens to end like a week or two before we're supposed to be exiting the EU. But whatever. Anyway, and then so it only suspends Parliament in England, right?
Yes.
So Scottish Parliament still, because it was Scottish.
No, it's Westminster, isn't it? But like the SNP weren't happy about it. I don't know whether Scottish, Irish, and Welsh kind of governments got together or not. But I know that there were business leaders and politicians took a case to the civil court, or was it Crown Court first off in Britain?
Yeah,
and it was chucked out. They basically were trying to say that it was unlawful.
Yeah.
The suspension of Parliament was unlawful because it stopped any kind of political process on trying to actually sort out a deal with Europe.
Yeah.
The first court dismissed it. Then a Scottish court claimed that it was unlawful.
Yeah.
A few days later. And then it came back to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land.
Yeah.
And they found it unlawful, which means that Parliament had to reconvene the next day.
Yeah.
And, I mean, did you see the scenes from inside Westminster that day?
I didn't actually know.
It was, I mean...
bloodbath.
Yeah. Like someone...
Was Boris Johnson there?
He was, yeah, I think, because he was in the UN. He was in the UN in New York at the Greta Thunberg thing, where she basically told off a bunch of old people for a while, for 20 minutes.
How dare you?
Yeah, all that.
Fuck me, she's great.
And, yeah, he was there meeting with his best pal, Donny.
Not Osmond.
No, unfortunately. And... yeah, while he was out there, the news broke that Supreme Court had found his prorogation unlawful. So he had to go straight back home again. After delivering some weird fucking speech about like the future of technology in the country, where AI was going to bring us limbless chickens to the table, and it was like Prometheus, and it was all very strange. Prometheus, the Greek god, rather than the film.
Yeah, right, cool.
He drew a comparison between Prometheus and Brexit, because Prometheus was the god who gave fire to the humans, and was punished by Zeus by being shackled to the side of a mountain, and every day a vulture would come down and peck out his liver, but because he was immortal.
Comparing himself to Prometheus.
Yeah, I mean it's basically that.
Right.
But yeah, just as a kind of thing of like how long Brexit has gone on, essentially, or the talks, or not.
Lack of.
So yeah, he came back and faced an incredibly angry opposition, and even some of the members of his own party.
Yeah. So it's, and then you got. I don't want to get on the high horse. I'm just, but you got the whole, like, Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers were all saying, well, yeah, this has nothing to do with Brexit. It's standard process, blah, 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 blah.
But now
and then when the Supreme Court thing happened, it's like, look at these guys who are trying to stop progress and trying to stop Brexit and trying to ruin it in every
Boris Johnson himself said that this is going to interfere with how Brexit is going to come out. So, therefore,
the
prorogation was an attempt
Brexit.
to... stall negotiations.
Despite the
on
fact
Brexit.
it was nothing to do with Brexit. Just like those buses didn't actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually. Did you hear? We're going to go back onto the thing before where we were saying like all these theories and headcanon and blah blah blah. Now, did you hear about that bit with Boris Johnson? You know he was having that I like to make wooden models of buses, buses. But did you hear what people are thinking that may actually be about?
No.
Because now when they look up Boris Johnson and buses, no longer is it the NHS bus. It's that speech about buses.
That's
how would you search for how would you put into Google? And it's in a similar vein to this. If you were going to search for, you remember when Walt Disney, that theory about him being cryogenic, how would you search for it in Google?
Well, I suppose Walt Disney cryogenic or frozen or see where you're going.
Walt Disney frozen. There's another theory.
Right. Yeah, I suppose when you look at it with that tinfoil hat on, it does look a little bit.
Yeah, Boris Johnson buses.
Yeah, good point.
It's no longer the NHS bus.
I mean, the thing is, like, everyone.
It's wooden buses.
People
models of buses.
know who are in the know about such things.
Yes.
Bearing in mind the very fringes of what I work on the fringes of the press.
Yes.
You know, I don't ever work with. I've met a couple of tabloidy people in the past.
Yeah.
At various things, but we don't often cross over. But you know, there are people at my place who are much more in that world than I am. And have been in this world longer than I have, and know people in this world, who say that his whole shambolic approach is actually carefully stage managed.
Yeah, it's a front.
Like before he goes out to do a speech or in front of cameras, he will ruffle his own hair, yank his tie a little bit to make him appear that way. Yeah. He is not that, is what I have heard.
Yeah.
I can well fucking believe it because no one that bumbling an idiot
gets to where
he is without being cold.
Not in British politics.
No, that's true. But even Trump he's a huckster. He's always been on the grind, whether or not he's been successful. But the problem is he has been successful because he's become a celebrity and now he's become the president. Like it's all on brand Trump and it's brand Boris, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
bumbling Boris.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean, he appears on stuff like "Have I Got News for You?" and he's a bumbling idiot. And like when he was mayor of London, it was all kind of like hanging from a fucking wire and all this kind of stuff.
Won't be tackling kids.
He's a lot cleverer than.
Of course he is.
People have him down.
Of course he is.
And that's his secret power. And this is where this is where the kind of the similarities with Hitler come in as well. And I'm not saying that Boris Johnson is a Nazi. However,
Boris Johnson isn't.
No, he's not.
Oh, it's not one of those ones.
No. However, there are similarities between the fact that when Hitler came along, he was very rabble-rousing and people laughed at him because he was not of the political system. Yeah. He wasn't part of the kind of suit and tie brigade.
The ultimate outcome is different. Like
but what
Boris
Hitler did as well
for...
was coming up to 1938-39 is that he shut down Parliament and then wrested control from Kaiser Wilhelm.
Right.
On the promise that he would stop the state of emergency after X amount of months, and he never gave up that.
He never did.
No.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that Boris has got the same agenda as Hitler. That's not what we're saying.
But there is a precedent. There's a precedent already set in history.
Yes.
That says a dictator shut down Parliament on the promise that it would come back. Yeah. Into session, and it never did. He held on and became the dictator, and then horrible things happened from there. Obviously, it's not going to be the case here.
No,
but
it's the method.
If it's unlawful, it's unlawful.
Yeah.
And the reason it's unlawful is because you can't shut down Parliament for 5 weeks on nothing at all, when actually you've got quite an important deal to be made. I mean, if we are coming out on the 31st, we're coming out on the 31st, but no one wants a no deal.
Yeah.
Because it's bad for the country, and there's also things coming out and that, like, a lot of the people backing him at the moment. I mean, even his own sister has said that a lot of people backing his play have bet heavily on a no deal Brexit, and they stand to gain billions.
Yes,
on the currency tumble that will happen immediately after we crash out without a deal, because it will happen.
Yeah.
Whether or not it then stabilises, these people have bet on hard Brexit. They bet against the pound because it will fall off a cliff.
Oh, massively. We're going to struggle. Like, it's going to hit the working class massively.
Yeah.
Which is what the working class don't understand.
It's
a lot of the working class don't understand. I always go... We didn't want to do this. I always go back to my analogy of you wouldn't move house without making sure you've got fuel, you know where you're going to buy food from, you know your local conveniences.
Yeah. Do you have a supermarket nearby? Is there a post office? Is there...
Who's going to provide my electricity? Who's going to provide my water and sewage? You wouldn't.
No.
Obviously, a lot of that stuff is going to be is in place anyway. Yeah. But where do we buy our power from? Where do we buy a lot of our food from?
Yeah.
I've got a relative, well, ex-relative, but still talk to him, who made the argument the reason British farming suffered hugely was because we started importing a lot of our food from Europe. So by cutting off those ties with Europe, British farming will come back up again.
Right.
Like they genuinely believe that. A lot of our manufacturing industries and stuff like that went to Europe because it was cheaper. That's why we struggle now. By closing off those deals, we are going to come back to manufacturing in the UK again. And it's like, well, I think it would probably be cheaper to still manufacture stuff in Europe and pay the import charges than it would to actually manufacture it in the UK.
Yeah.
Even if we have to pay more taxes on it now, it would still be cheaper than if we manufactured it ourselves.
Yeah, because of wages and
because we can't sell our stuff to Europe now because Europe are buying their stuff from Europe. Whereas if we manufacture it, we can't sell it to Europe. We've got to sell it to the US. But well, hang on, they've got manufacturing as well.
Yeah.
So
it's
people don't need our products anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're not getting angry about it. We're just stating the facts. But there's been a lot of
the majority, the 17 million.
But there's been, it's heated on all sides, and I see things from people who think the opposite.
Yeah,
and all these videos and all these snippets take what they want from what has been said, but but to get the true thing, you've got to watch the actual kind of parliamentary debate as it happens. You've got to listen to it as it happens, because then you can hear exactly what was said, unfiltered and unedited.
It's not good enough to read.
Yeah, like anything where there's a picture of a person and a quote, I do not. I don't even read that shit anymore because who knows.
And in all honesty, we've got our echo chamber.
Yeah,
but just listening to our echo chamber isn't enough. You need to actually go and find out what was actually said. Because, like you say, our echo chamber, our friends who are into politics and stuff like that, have their own opinion.
Yeah.
And they are putting their opinion across based on what they've heard. And you listening to their opinion, you're only going to get that.
Yeah.
You need to find out. And it's what I always say to people. Yes, if you look at moon landing hoax, you are going to find articles that support the moon landing hoax. You're not going to find the other stuff. You need to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
For instance, another relative of mine, one of my mum's cousin, posted a screenshot. He posted a screenshot. It was the 28th, a couple of days ago now. Yesterday, in fact. 10 people who should say sorry, and it's all about politicians who need to say sorry because of the accusations they've made.
Yeah.
And it's got a Labour MP, a Labour MP, a Labour MP, a Lib Dem MP, a Labour MP, a Labour MP, a Labour MP, a Labour... Where are the Conservative MPs that need to say sorry?
Yeah.
You know, and I even commented, I did comment, and I said, strange how there are no Conservative MPs listed there. I wonder if the newspaper this comes from has any political bias at all, or if the Conservatives are just that good. And he put, I think it's just highlighting that both sides are bad. We hear from the left that the right say things, but then the left can be the same. It's so naughty. And it's like, but you missed my point.
Yeah. Like
that article only had Labour and Lib Dem MPs.
Yeah, why is that article not bringing up
Conservative MPs? Yeah. Because that paper supports a certain... And I would just say that article he posted is bordered in red.
Right.
So
sure. So take from that what you will.
Yeah.
But it's like also those side by sides of like English versions of the Sun and Scottish versions of the Sun.
I saw that.
Covering exactly the same story, but with headlines for England that are pro-Tory and headlines for Scotland that are anti.
Yeah.
It's the same
story.
The
Sun. Yeah.
Same paper owned by the same person.
One's coming from the right view, one's coming from a left view.
Yeah, because of their market.
Yeah.
And that's how newspapers...
It just shows.
Work. Yeah, it's exactly that, you know.
Because the majority voted Leave, so the Sun became a right-wing newspaper.
Yeah, but it's scary, though, before. Because, like, certain things come into normal everyday discourse and start getting used in arguments online and stuff. I'd never heard of the term pro-rogue before. But everyone started using it as if they knew what the fuck it meant.
Yeah.
For days, I was like, "What the fuck is proroguing?" Like, I don't understand what the word is. Like, I don't really get what it means. Like,
I mean, taking it away from the I mean, that it just happens anyway. I think you take it away from the political sphere anyway. There were videos that Chloe used to watch on YouTube. It was, I can't remember the guy's name now, but he was someone that used to break into like water parks after they closed, or he used to spend nights in shop, and he'd always say, right, let's send it, let's go, let's send it, like let's get on the top of the Millennium Dome and try, let's send the Millennium. And I'm like, what the fuck, send it? What a fucking load of shit! What a load of shit! Yesterday we were bouldering, and I went, sent it. Yeah, it's like it's just it is like,
but it's kind of it is shocking how easy it is to pick up on things that you hear and just start parroting them.
But I'm using it in it's said, that's what's said when you're in, like when you go climbing and stuff, you send a route.
Yeah,
you successfully climb a route, you've sent it.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. And whereas you're sitting there thinking, send it where? Where are you sending it? Like, which is what mine...
What are you sending?
Yeah, what are you sending? Does it have an address?
Have you got a stamp?
Yeah, like, this is...
That was something that Jo was saying as she came down the alleyway from school the other night.
Yeah.
There were two kids at the bottom of the road, and one of them was doing something and laughing, and the other one was going, no, stop it. Just stop it. And she got down to there and she was like, boy number one, why aren't you doing what boy number two is saying? Why aren't you stopping what you're doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And this kid was like, I'm trying to post my homework to his house. She's like, that won't work because you don't have a stamp or an envelope. Like, why do you think that it would go?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was just something on the line of send it.
Yeah.
Bizarre children.
But yeah, it's just it's become part of my vocabulary now. But I will only ever use it in that context.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
sure, yeah.
But
it's it's weird that like someone says something on the news and then the next day all the right wing people are using that, like whether it be snowflake, whether it be.
I hate that term.
I know, yeah.
Left, because we are snowflakes, because we are left leaning.
Yeah.
But if they get upset about something really trivial, they're not snowflakes.
No, they're gammons.
They're gammons, exactly. Good point. But they are exhibiting snowflakey behaviour by getting upset about stuff.
Yeah,
but we've decided they get all red faced, they're gammons.
Yeah. The problem with that is that when
snowflakes, that I've just realised actually, when I used to work in a factory, like the guys at the factory used to all call each other melts.
Right, yeah. It's the
I
same
wonder
kind
if
of thing.
it comes from
Yeah,
that.
it's the same kind of thing.
That's where
it's like
snowflakes come
you
from.
melt in the heat, basically.
Yeah.
Is that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
But the problem with the whole gammon thing is that on last week when they went back into Parliament again, and these Labour and Lib Dem people were having a go at Boris Johnson, they had the red face on. You know, it was all very kind of gammony from the left side.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the thing.
But they're snowflakes.
Yeah, yeah, they're kind of gammony snowflakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. One of the good things that I was watching just before I went to bed on Friday, it was the Culture Show, I think it was. Spitting Image is coming back.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
After 23 years. You want to see some of the puppets? They're great.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering.
So you got Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin there with Thug Life tattooed across his.
Wow.
You've got
Harry
and Meghan.
Okay, that's
horrific.
Great. That is great. I fucking love that. I don't know if it's going to be any.
I mean, this is the thing as well. I didn't realise they were as big as they're life size virtually.
Oh wow!
Like scarily large puppets. Then you've also got Kanye and Zuckerberg.
I'm a bit upset that Donald Trump's one isn't the baby.
Yeah, no, I know, but
it's gonna happen, isn't it?
I can only imagine
it's gonna have to be the Trump loop.
Yeah. But apparently, it's going to America as well. Spitting Image.
Is it going to be the same episodes?
I have no idea. Probably
because Spitting Image was very British humour.
Yeah, but I think nowadays you get news from all over, don't you? Like, it's world news is a lot more.
Yeah, no, I get
although
that.
That said, Spitting Image used to do Reagan as well. It was Reagan and Maggie,
but it was
wasn't it?
For Brits.
Yes, yeah, no,
but
I know what you mean.
I'm worried that it's not. This is the problem with who. Do we know who's writing it?
Let me check.
Because it used to be like Ben Elton and.
Yeah.
That troop, didn't it?
A new episode public service set up by co-creator Roger Law.
I'm just worried that it's going to be a watered down Spitting Image because obviously not that now I don't want to say that Americans' sense of humour like is watered down, not intelligent, dumb, blah blah, which is what people have always which people say when it comes to British humour.
Yeah,
but British humour is very different to American humour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it going to be Americanised humour?
Yeah.
Because we Brits like American humour. Not all Americans masses like British humour. So is it going to be tailored more to an American audience than a British audience?
Yeah.
In which case, it's not going to be Spitting Image.
True.
It's going to be like Westworld.
However,
puppets.
Yeah.
Or, well.
So this guy Roger Law, who was an original creator of the original Spitting Image, he's back to do this. The pilot will also feature the Duchess of Sussex wearing a glittery top with the word "princess" printed on the front.
Fucking hell! If there's not a Primark label hanging out the back of it, I will be upset. This is the thing. I like them.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that the British press are going after her so hard.
Yeah. Because she's not white, basically, and not British. Yeah.
That's just. It's just how the British press see her. And Spitting Image tacking onto that isn't Spitting Image not liking her.
No, it's
Spitting Image taking the piss out of the way.
It's lampooning the way the press.
It's the classic British taking the piss out of ourselves thing.
Yeah.
And that's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Because there was somebody posted something on Facebook earlier. They retweeted. Sorry, no, it was Twitter. They retweeted an article that somebody posted about Kate Middleton, or ex-Kate, who used to be Middleton, wearing this
the
is
same
the fourth
jacket.
time you've worn this coat, Kate, and then someone was like, yes.
I mean, the coat that I own, I have owned for something like 8 years.
Yeah.
I wear it every day during the winter.
She's getting, ripped to shreds because she's worn a blue coat, like blue
Four
jacket,
times
4 times.
in
It's
the
like,
past, however many years.
that's it. And they posted, yes, it's a coat. You wear it when the weather is cold.
Yeah, you don't. I don't own more than one. I own a couple of
actual
jackets and a coat.
I think it was.
Oh no, I have 2 coats. Sorry.
I think it was Carrie Hope Fletcher, who is Tom Fletcher from McFly's sister.
Right.
She actually posted. She's also in her own right. She's like a musical theatre.
Oh, okay,
star,
right. I was like,
Sorry,
that
not,
gives her more of a platform than
no.
anyone else.
Like in her own right, she's like quite big on YouTube, and she's a
Right.
massive she's a really big West End star. Like she's going into. She is the only actress to have played. So she's played 4 of the female roles in Les Mis.
Oh,
like
right.
one as a child and then 3 as an adult.
Wow.
Like 4 different characters.
Fair play.
Yeah, she put it's a coat. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of a coat, it's a garment that's meant to be worn when it's chilly. And when you live in England, it's chilly more than one day a year. Get a grip. Like,
It's true though, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
people, but because the royals have their clothes made for them, and it's all that, isn't it? Like how dare you? How can you possibly
yeah.
wear one article of clothing more than once?
Bearing in mind, like Kate Middleton's like an environmentalist and
Yeah.
like things
Yeah.
like this. Like, well, she's not just going to wear a garment once and then
And
get
throw it
rid of
away,
it,
yeah.
unless it's a wedding dress, of course. But that won't get thrown away. It'll
that's-
get displayed
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's different.
Yeah.
So it says here as well, unlike its 1980s heyday, Mr. Law said the new series would not focus on the lower ranks of British politics, explaining it's an awful lot of trouble to go to and you want to be effective. Because that was it. It used to lampoon everyone from like the Prime Minister right down to some of the backbenchers.
Yeah.
So they're only going to be focusing on the top line, which today with people's kind of,
Yeah, people don't know backbenchers these
No.
days, whereas because unfortunately people aren't as
politically
into
savvy.
as they used to be.
Yeah. He told the paper the show's producers are in talks with the US-based network about bringing the show to a wider global audience. So maybe it's not specific or if maybe they're bringing it to a wider audience, maybe they'll make different content for.
So maybe they will make a UK-based version and then make a separate US. So the US, it will be focused on US politics and bring in some of the British. Whereas for us, it will be the British bringing in some of. We will probably just get Trump.
Yeah.
And probably Obama.
Yeah.
And Hillary. Whereas in the States, they'd probably get like senators and things like that, which we don't really understand.
Yeah, quite possibly.
It'll be good. I'll be interested to see it.
Yeah, because it went from 1984 to 1996. It was long
successful.
running, but it's been 20 odd years, 23 years since that
So
now.
I've just realised. So Mark Zuckerberg has got the John Major.
He's basically the grey person.
Yeah.
But also what they had because he's wearing a hoodie
Yeah.
on the show, it was Front Row, not the Culture Show.
Yeah.
He had the hoodie up and he looked like kind of like the Emperor.
Oh really?
Yeah. Because he's got those slightly sunken eyes and they're all red around the outside. I think that's what they're going to be doing with him, like making him this kind of.
The all power. Well, yeah, because he's like Facebook and like controlling the masses. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be looking forward to that. But it's good that it's the original creator.
It's the original team or guy. Yeah. So it's his original vision.
Because as well, that show launched the careers of loads of comedians as well. Like Steve Coogan used to do lots of impressions of lots of the voices. You had Rob Brydon used to do it as well. That kind of that group of impressionists and stand-ups and stuff. So it'll be interesting.
I can hear John Major's voice. He used to talk like that.
Yeah, so good. But also, like it's come slightly too late because obviously Theresa May was clearly.
Should have been perfect.
This
with the dancing.
Yeah, the dancing.
They
and
can still do that.
Well, they could because she's still a politician. Right?
Yeah,
she's still, she's
and
still
the
in
running
party
through the fields of wheat.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting because they really went for it with the original ones, with like John Major being completely grey. Like Mikhail Gorbachev used to have that birthmark on his head.
Yeah.
And they changed it to a hammer and sickle. Like.
Oh god. They're going to have to be very, very careful in the States with it, though, aren't they?
I think so. They might have to water it down.
Like
somewhat.
litigation, and
I'm quite looking forward to see what they do with Kanye West as well. Really, like what that's going to be.
I can kind of hear how his voice would be as well.
Yeah.
He'd be like a little, that sort of.
Yeah. It doesn't say when the pilot is gonna.
And they used
airing.
to really overdo the royals, their accents, didn't they? They used to be so posh.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think that's going to be really good.
Yeah. Let's end with that good news.
Because like we've said, for the last few years we've been like, how could you satirise this?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they are going to satirise it now. And that's it, isn't it? We're done being angry. We just want to laugh again.
But we will be We will be crying
through clenched teeth.
We will be laughing and crying at the same time. Like, it's so funny, but scary.
Because it's true.
And scary. Yeah, I look forward to it. We do need a bit more humour surrounding this stuff. I mean, I just give up.
Yeah. No, it's
we can't give up. That's the problem.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm still of the opinion. Yes, we need to leave.
Yeah,
and I don't want to.
But
we need
to try and strike an actual deal that isn't going to sink everything. You know. But yeah, they're going to have to try and do something now because they've been called back into Parliament by the law.
Yeah.
So
we've got a little over a month.
I mean, my whole thing was like, if he's broken the law, why isn't he being arrested?
Get rid of him.
How is he possibly still there? But
Get rid of him, put someone else in power. And I think they're hoping for that because now Labour have started to post videos of under Labour this would happen, like they're campaigning
for the first time in 3 years.
When they were thinking about when the vote of no for confidence against Theresa May was initially.
Oh, that's true.
They started campaigning then, and he's also put a campaign video out about universal tax credits today.
Yeah.
Like there's not an election due for a while, but I think they're thinking there will be one directly after Brexit. Yeah. So they're sort of Corbyn is like, we need to get Labour in and fix this shit.
Yeah. Get better than anyone.
It just does my head in because it's like, get Labour in. Labour help the lower classes, but they spend a lot of money doing it and put us into debt. And then the Tories come in like, we need to help our mates and get ourselves out of debt. So we'll put
austerity.
So what we'll do is put the taxes up for the lower classes and make it really hard for them. But we're getting out of debt as a country. And then Labour go, but they've fucking punished the lower classes, so let's spend lots of money fixing the lower. And it's like, fuck's sake.
In all honesty, I think the whole thing needs breaking down and replacing with another. I think capitalism is coming to the end of its like useful cycle. Like capitalism is a broken system. I don't know what would replace it.
No.
I'm not that clever, but capitalism, you can't sustain the planet on the capitalist model of like
socialism.
Yeah, but no, because someone's just universal income,
a dictatorship,
like jobs that actually benefit the country. Like
I believe, like I know people like do the spread the wealth. Everyone should, like there's people that believe everyone should earn the same thing. It's like, well, no, because doctors do a really important job and they should earn more money. Yeah.
We've said this before. The more kind of helpful to society your job is, the better you should be paid.
Should there be paid classes? Should there be a maximum you can earn?
As something.
Yeah.
Like doctors, surgeons, bin men.
I mean, the NHS kind of do pay bands anyway. Support workers are in this band and then pay grades, but universally across the whole country.
But if your job isn't, if your job isn't in the service industry or isn't like, for example, me, I probably shouldn't earn as much as a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is. I know there are some.
Like, but I didn't spend that much time at university in education, so I shouldn't earn that much.
I did media.
I'm an unskilled.
I did media studies and journalism.
Yeah.
That was never going to help anyone but me. Do you know what I mean? Like.
But you're bringing important information to the masses.
Am I?
In your field.
That's what I mean, though.
But yeah, it's very...
I shouldn't be allowed to be paid more than X amount. But the thing is, like, there was going to be a time just before capitalism was agreed on.
Yeah.
Because capitalism is only really a recent-ish kind of idea, like in the last 100 or 150, 200 years, something like that. There was going to be someone proposed a system of how things work, where basically a lamp costs £10, but all lamps cost £10, no matter who makes them. All lamps cost £10. So design the best lamp.
Yeah.
You're only going to buy the best lamp. Like there's a.
So it gets rid of the designer, the branding, like.
Yeah, like
does
no
your
lamp.
kid have Adidas trousers on? Well, yes.
Yeah.
But my kid doesn't have Adidas trousers, but they cost the same.
Gucci trousers.
Yeah.
The trousers will cost £15.
Trousers are trousers.
Yeah. This set of trousers is by Levi's. This set of trousers is by Gucci. They both cost £15. Which one are you going to buy? The one that lasts longer?
The only problem with that is I can see, like in films where you have that kind of system where there's an overseeing thing, everyone wears the same clothes. It's like a uniform.
Oh, but it's not. You don't have to wear the same clothes, you see, because you do have choice.
But because there is no incentive for a company to design something better because they can't get more money for it, would they just go for a simple design? Would there be that progress thing? Would they be put?
But this is the thing.
This is the problem you get.
Don't necessarily know that would happen because it never happened.
Would Adidas go, look, we've so for phones, for instance, phones. So every year you'll get a company will release multiple iterations of their phone. Would if the phone's always going to cost that much, would there be any incentive for them to make their phones better? To invest money to make a product better.
I know what you mean.
And have bigger.
But why do we need it to be better?
Progress.
Why?
So because the thing, it's technology, isn't it? It's advancing technology.
Yeah.
This is. I get your argument, and we always like better things. We do as humans because we have been trained to do that because of capitalism.
Because of capitalism.
Anyway.
Yeah. No. And that's what I mean. If capitalism had never happened, it may not have worked out like that. It may have been there were 5 or 6 companies all making trousers, and they would have been different.
But would
they would all have cost the same amount of money?
Would then those companies get too big? Because there's only 5 companies. Because nobody has pushed like I can do something better, so I'm going to start my own company, and then the wealth is spread across multiple companies. Would we just we do now, but like Apple, Google, Amazon, they're in charge of everything. They've got the mass.
To be fair,
they do now, but they still would in this other society because there would be no incentive for somebody to fight them.
I suppose it would open up new ways of looking at.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, we were saying about in pay grades,
Yeah.
and you were saying about you're a journalist, and I said bringing information to the masses on news, and you're like, but do I? Because your field is quite niche.
Yeah.
Now, should you as a journalist in a niche market be on the same money as a journalist in a national newspaper?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Because they've got more readers.
Yeah.
So this is where
the
system breaks down.
Yeah, no, precisely.
This is why we aren't in charge of coming up with a new system.
No, which is why I said at the beginning I don't know what will come after this because I'm not that clever.
But
and I've just proved it.
Let's try this.
But there are other forms of running a country or the world that could easily replace capitalism, but because we've all known nothing but capitalism, we can't see the benefits
of other.
Yeah.
But we can look at other countries where they're not a capitalist society. For instance, like North Korea,
Cuba,
who have
Russia,
North Korea, who have they have like approved clothing. You can only wear this type of clothing in this color. It's
China,
and that's where I'm coming with like.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So it's all systems are open to corruption.
Yeah.
I think the really purest way of doing it is there was I think it was it Greek or Roman where there was like a whole session was of government was formed of people who were called up to do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, say, 50 people in Rome at random were like, right, you are the Senate.
So just members of the public.
Yeah, you are the Senate for this year.
Good, though. Yeah.
Run the country. And it was people from all echelons of life, from the
Different
poorest
classes.
to the richest. And so they all had to come with a
different
compromise.
Professions.
Yeah. I can't remember what form of government that's called, but like that.
I'd be interested to see what like Stephen King would come up with, or Neil Gaiman, or something, like, if they were in that group. Here's a worst case scenario if we go this way.
But this is it. You've got 50 people from all different type backgrounds and classes and what have you, and they all had to
work together.
They were working together for a year. And I don't know whether there were, targets for progress set or whatever.
Yeah.
But that seems to me almost better than having a bunch of Eton educated idiots who don't know who have never done hard work in their fucking lives and have had everything handed to them on a plate and never been told no. It
comes back to, and I've had this conversation a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, because there's a new girl at work. She's a support worker. I was talking to her, and I knew she had a degree in psychology below, and she said, "Oh yeah." And when I was doing my masters in psychology, I said, "Oh, you've got a masters?" So that's cool. And she was like, "Yeah." And then one of the nurses turned around to her, like he's not a regular. I think he was agency, and he was like, "You've got a masters, and you're just doing support worker role." And I was like, "Hmm?" And she was, "Well, yeah, I sort of wanted to see." Start from the bottom, sort of get some experience, and that's one of our assistant psychologists. He started as a support worker, and now now he works on the psychology team. And I was like, "Yeah, see, I don't like it. Where I used to work in retail, we had an assistant manager, and she used to come into the, you know her quite well. She came into the warehouse. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Do you want to beep it out?
Sorry."
Right, yeah, I did wonder.
You know her quite well.
Yes, I do.
Put a mark, so I am going to beep that out. She came into the warehouse once and was like, "Oh, you need to do this in this amount of time." And I was like, "We can't do this in this amount. We're not going to get it cleared by that time." She went, "Yeah, you are, look." And she flipped over, bah, 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 bah. She went, "There you go, do it."
Yeah.
It's that quick. And then she walked out and I was kind of like, "That's one box."
Yeah.
She wants me to keep up that pace throughout this whole delivery.
Yeah.
And when I got talking to her, and she was like, "Well, yeah, because," and I even asked her once. I said, "So, like, did you work in warehouses before you?" She went, "No, I went to university and I did like business studies and come straight into management." And I was like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah. It's a physical job.
Yeah. So you've never done this job, which is why you think it's easy to do that job. Whereas we had another manager who came in afterwards, and he was, I can't remember his name now. A really tall, quite skinny guy. Right. Anyway, but he was really good because he would come in and help us get through he wouldn't just do one box and walk off. He would see we're struggling, he'd come in and start helping and clear a few boxes of like products, and then go off and do some management work. There was a couple of them. There was two of them actually. There was the assistant manager and the manager would both come and do it together.
Interesting.
They'd both come in and help.
Yeah. And that promotes a better working environment.
And then we want to work harder because we like them. Yeah. They're really cool.
Because they muck in.
Yeah.
They're not just making a point and fucking off.
Yeah, whereas
like a complete cunt.
Whereas this one...
God, I hated her.
Yeah, I know you did. Which is why I said you know her very well. You had a couple of run-ins with her, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think was she probably the reason you left in the end? Was she? Or she was one of the things that made you look harder for alternative work?
Yeah, certainly she was... Yeah, I was pushed into university, basically. Yeah. I was like, I have to better my life or else I'm going to murder her.
Yes.
She was an arsehole.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Where was that? Yeah, so I just think lead by example, isn't it? And actually have some kind of sympathy with people who do hard work.
Which is why these Eton guys don't understand the lower classes.
Yeah.
Like, I
watched a film.
Am I right in thinking like Corbyn wasn't an Ivy League? What would be Ivy League in America?
Like
he actually was working class.
Yeah. He's come up through the movement and all that.
which is Tony Blair didn't,
No.
which is why he was like a Tory in disguise, wasn't he?
Labour
a
light,
lot of
Tory
people,
light, yeah, it's and that's why people hate him so much, because he's not one of these backslapping kind of. He lives in a regular house somewhere, you know, like, and he's trying to not force, but he's presenting a socialist movement, which is something that Labour hasn't even done in the last God knows how many years, few decades. You know, because like you say, the new Labour with Tony Blair was really just Tory light. It wasn't a Labour movement really. It was set up to look like one, and actually the country did really well under it.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, they bankrupted some bits, and you know the Tories had to come in and put austerity in place, but
it would be like a dictionary for, like, if you looked up New Labour in dictionary, it would say C Conservative.
Like, basically, the friendly face of conservatism. But yeah, because he's offering, again, like what we've been talking about in this last part of the podcast here. He's putting forward something that is not what a politician has put forward for decades. It's like, well, why don't we actually put money in to help normal people? Because they are the people that put us in power. Might be a good idea to keep them happy. Don't know. You know, make their lives a bit more comfortable.
This isn't an RPG, it's real life.
Yeah.
Like you have to actually.
Yeah. So
you can't make new characters if yours dies.
No, there's no respawn.
No.
But yeah, so something new needs to happen, because I mean 3 years of this shit has been far too long. Like we've said it before, you and I could have done a better deal. I'm absolutely positive if we'd have 3 years to be able to go over there and be like, look.
Yeah, in actual fact, it's been enough time now that we could have studied politics at university.
Or business. One of us did politics, one of us did business.
Work together. Get a philosopher in there as well, philosophy major.
Yeah. But
to help with this new form of government. You know.
But it's interesting. This has been the thing. This is why we haven't bothered talking about it for so long, is because who the fuck knows what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
Because although it has been in the news and so much has happened, nothing's happened.
No, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, we're
in the same place
water.
we were last time we spoke about it, which was like 3 months now, 3-4 months now.
Yeah.
And we're in the same place.
Yeah. It's just that corruption is literally being exposed left, right and centre now.
And people are quite openly going, I'm going to do this. And we go, you're not allowed to do that. And they go, yeah, I know, but I'm doing it anyway. Like, I don't care now.
Yeah,
nothing's going to happen.
It's almost getting to the point where you almost feel something's going to implode somewhere.
It's getting to a point where it's like children who mouth off at adults because they know the adults can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
The politician's coming out, I'm going to do this, and there's fuck all you can do about it.
Yeah.
Because I've got an army behind me who are going to support me and shout you down.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But utterly depressing at the same time.
This is our reality.
Yeah. There's a theory I read somewhere on the internet. I'm going to finish with this.
Yeah.
That the world ended in 2012.
Actually did.
Yeah,
and, this is
and
just
that
a nightmare.
we've been forced into like a pocket universe or something because of the Large Hadron Collider. Like they switched that on in 2012 apparently, and that was obviously the Mayan thing as well. Was 2012 was going to be, and weirdly that's when the Mandela Effect started coming in. Is people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s, but then he died in 2013,
right?
And lots of people were like, "Hold on, wasn't he already dead?"
Yeah.
And then there a lot of other things to do with the Mandela Effect has really been that kind of thing, and also the fact that Febreze used to be spelt with 2 E's and is now only spelt with 1. Apparently, and the thriller bit with Vincent Price saying "y'all's neighbourhood" or "in your neighbourhood." He actually says "y'all's," which I can't believe Vincent...
No, it's your.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I always thought it was your as well, but I've listened to it recently and it's y'all's.
Well, I've got the vinyl at home.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it?
Is it the same vinyl?
You play that vinyl and see if it's changed,
But is it the same vinyl?
Yeah.
or has that
Yeah.
did that switch?
So if you want to check that out, I mean, just try and find a thread. There was a thread on Twitter by a guy who...
Yaw and yawl. It's
Yeah, no, I know. It's because
in an old-
yawls wasn't a thing in the UK until very recently, I guess. I don't know. You just didn't hear that kind of vernacular.
So we always heard it as yawl because
Yeah.
we'd never heard of yawls before.
Yeah. Like there are arguments against the Mandela
I've got
Effect, obviously, because the Mandela Effect.
What
is
you
kind
mean?
of
There's a theory that we're not in a pocket universe? You fucking crazy man!
I know, you tinfoil twat over there. But yeah, it's interesting. Go and find it. There's a whole thread on Facebook, Twitter. I can't remember the guy who posted it up, but if you look at
Mandela Effect.
Mandela Effect or
hashtag the Mandela Effect.
World ending in
Is that
2012.
spelled with 2 L's still? And 2 F's. But it will, that will pull up loads of stuff, the Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a rabbit hole to go down for the next 2 weeks until the next episode of Anywhere But Here. So until then, don't have nightmares. I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
Bye.